Have you ever stepped into a room and felt as though the air itself turned heavy, even though no one said a word? Something inside you seemed to shrink, a subtle dimming, a weight pressing on your chest that you could not name. These moments cannot be measured by any instrument, nor proven by any laboratory test, yet your nervous system registers them instantly. You simply know when you are in the presence of someone who drains, distorts, or disregards the sacred spark within you. Across cultures and centuries, such people have been described in many ways: empty vessels, hollow shells, the soulless. Jung might call them figures who resist individuation, who refuse the integration of shadow and light. Edgar Cayce might describe them as beings whose inner flame has gone dim, incapable of true resonance. Modern psychology may frame them as individuals who operate without empathy, reducing relationships to equations of extraction. Whatever name we choose, the effect remains the same. Your light bends under their gravity. And here lies the riddle. If such encounters are invisible yet undeniable, how do we protect ourselves? Cultures across the world offered a clear answer. Through symbols, signs, and talismans designed not merely to repel the harmful gaze, but also to remind the soul of its sovereignty. These emblems, whether carved into temple doors, hung around the neck, or whispered into ritual, are known as apotropaic, which means to turn away. They turn away the energy of malice, but just as importantly, they turn you back toward yourself. Carl Jung once said that symbols are the best possible expression for something unknown. When you wear or carry a protective symbol, you are not simply holding an object. You are participating in a dialogue between the conscious and the unconscious, between the outer world of threat and the inner world of resilience. The symbol becomes a bridge, anchoring you in meaning, summoning the archetype of the guardian and reminding you that you are never powerless. Even science offers its quiet confirmation. Studies in psychology show that rituals, charms, or even a simple phrase can regulate anxiety, sharpen performance, and reshape the brain's response to stress. What ancient cultures intuited, that meaning joined with ritual creates protection, modern research is now beginning to confirm. Albert Einstein once remarked that the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. Symbols are not primitive decorations from a superstitious past. They are technologies of the mysterious, maps that carry the weight of centuries, yet remain alive every time you use them. Whether it is the Eye of Horus watching from ancient Egypt, the Hamsa hand lifted against envy, the Benedictine cross resisting temptation, or even a personal sigil you create for yourself, these images are more than artifacts. They are invitations to claim your spiritual perimeter, to declare a boundary where your soul remembers itself. This journey will explore how symbols and talismans function on 3 levels: as archetypes within the psyche, as rituals within culture, and as practical anchors for your daily boundaries. Along the way, we will draw insight from Jung's psychology, from Cayce's readings on gemstones, from Ingo Swann's disciplined approach to attention, and from the subtle validations of neuroscience. Each chapter will offer not only history, but also a living tool you can practice right now. The truth is this: the danger of soulless people is not only what they take from you, but what they can cause you to forget about yourself. Symbols, when chosen with intention, recall that forgotten truth. You have the right to be whole. You have the right to stand in your own light. You have the right to turn away from anything that does not honor your soul. Welcome to this exploration of spiritual symbols and talismans. By the end, you will not only know their history, you will know how to let them guard your spirit, steady your mind, and shield you from the silent invasion of the soulless. What if the very first shield you ever needed was already living inside you, older than your name, older than your memories? Before we speak of metal, stone, or sacred geometry, we must begin where every true symbol is born, in the deep interior theater of the psyche. A talisman only works when it speaks the ancient language your unconscious understands, and that language is archetype. Carl Jung described archetypes as primordial images, patterns of meaning that surface through dreams, myths, and sacred signs. They are living currents that shape how you perceive both threat and sanctuary, danger and rescue. When a protective symbol feels right, when it suddenly clicks, this is not random chance. It is the moment when an outer image finds its mirror in an inner pattern that was waiting to be named. The emblem doesn't just hang from your chest like an ornament. It organizes your energy, firms your posture, and tells your nervous system, we are not prey, we are present. Protection, then, is not a product you purchase, but a relationship you keep. It lives in the rhythm between you and your breath, in the subtle pact between conscious intention and the vast, quiet intelligence beneath it. The symbol is the bridge, but you are the one who must cross it. When the wrong person enters the room, the one who extracts attention, fractures clarity, and treats your empathy like an open tap, the untrained mind often freezes or collapses into compliance. But the trained psyche remembers another script. It hears the inner guardian step forward and whisper, hold the line. Across cultures, this guardian wears many names, the sentinel, the warrior, the gatekeeper. It governs thresholds, skins, and auras, passwords, and promises. It is not brutish aggression, but intelligent containment. When you touch a symbol that means protection to you, you are summoning this sentinel. Shoulders soften but stack, breath drops lower, eyes widen, and your field quietly reclaims its edges. The room itself may not change, but your perimeter does. Alongside the sentinel lives the healer magus, the archetype who knows that rituals recalibrate biology. Science calls it state regulation, longer exhales, slower cadence, tactile anchors that soothe the amygdala and quiet the background alarm. Mystics would describe it differently. The breath remembers you to yourself. Both are true. In the presence of someone draining, a micro-ritual can turn panic into precision. You touch the amulet, pair it with a vow, and feel the nervous system obey the cue. Symbol plus breath plus phrase becomes coherence. Protection is never only about defense, it is also about orientation. Here enters the seer, the archetype of vision. Soulless patterns often play the same tricks: confuse, accelerate, isolate, and harvest attention. The seer slows time, reads the subtext, hears the question under the question. When you carry a symbol of clear seeing, an eye, a star, a cross within a circle, you are not feeding paranoia, you are practicing perception. You remember to observe before you absorb. You choose where your attention lands, and with that choice, you decide who shapes the weather inside you. And there is the sovereign, the archetype of rightful authority over your own life. Without this figure, talismans collapse into superstition. With it, every symbol becomes a declaration. I am the one who decides what crosses this border. The sovereign is not loud but lawful. It sets time limits. It edits disclosures. It knows the difference between a request and a demand. When the sovereign is awake, the word no is not a war, it is a design. So how do we activate these archetypes? The first step is recognition. Notice what happens in your body when certain people approach. The tightening in your throat, the shallow breath, the restless eyes searching for safety in theirs. This is not weakness, it is data. Now pair the data with an anchor. If your symbol is a pendant, lift it and feel its temperature. If it is a stone, let its weight remind your body of gravity. If it is a mark on your notebook, trace it slowly with your finger as you lengthen the exhale. The body speaks ritual far more fluently than it speaks argument. Then give the ritual words because words aim the mind. Short phrases work best. Observe, don't absorb. Clarity and consent. I keep my center. Repeat silently with each breath. This is not a spell in the fairy tale sense. It is the alignment of cortex and limbic system, meaning and sensation, until your boundary is no longer just an idea, but an event. Soulless patterns feed on reactivity. A symbol joined with ritual starves them. Thresholds are excellent training grounds. Before you enter a meeting, a shop, or a family home, pause at the doorway and touch your symbol. Picture the guardian taking post, the seer widening your view, the sovereign seating itself on the throne within. 15 seconds is enough. Do it for a week and notice how conversations end sooner, guilt drains faster, and you remember what you came for. Even silence can be a shield. Soulless dynamics thrive on chatter and oversharing. Pair your symbol with a rule, a 2-second pause before any answer. In that pause, feel the pendant, trace the sigil, hold the stone. Let the body choose response over reflex. Often the most powerful protection you carry is the sentence you never speak, and then comes aftercare. Encounters leave residue, static in the aura, loops in the mind. When the door closes behind you, touch the symbol again and whisper. Return to sender what is not mine. Call back to me what is. Brush your hands, shake your arms, sip water. Write one clean line in your journal. What stays outside tonight is... This simple ritual teaches your nervous system how to end, and endings are boundaries in time. What you are cultivating here is not paranoia, but posture. Archetypes are not costumes, they are competencies. The symbol is not superstition. It is a steering wheel you hold when someone else tries to drive your nervous system. As you practice, you will notice that your confidence does not spike or shout, it settles. Your presence becomes less negotiable. Your empathy becomes choosy. Your calendar itself becomes a spell of protection, cast one no at a time. And so, having met the inner guardians of protection, we are ready to step beyond the psyche and onto the map of history. Across deserts and ports, temples and doorways, cultures carved, wove, and forged their defenses against the gaze that wounds. There we will encounter the Eye of Horus, the open palm of the Hamsa, the watchful Nazar, and more. Each one a story, each one a practice, each one a way of saying the same sacred sentence. I choose what enters me. Imagine a map where ports and deserts, monasteries and marketplaces, doorways and ship prows all glimmer with the same quiet intention, to turn harm away and to turn you back toward yourself. This is not a museum tour, but a living field guide. We are gathering symbols that survived because they served, because they helped generations hold their boundaries. As you hear these images, notice which one stirs something inside you. That is your first clue, for often the symbol chooses you as much as you choose it. Consider the Eye of Horus from ancient Egypt, carved on sarcophagi, painted on ships, pressed into amulets. It is one of humanity's earliest technologies of watchfulness. It is not about paranoia, but about presence, about sight broken and restored. To hold this eye is to invoke wholeness, healing, and vigilance. Wear it close to your throat or set it near your door, and when confusion threatens to distort your memories, trace its lines and silently affirm, I return to accurate seeing. In that moment, the eye trains you to verify rather than drift. Now picture the palm of the Hamsa and the blue bead of the Nazar spread across the Mediterranean world. Envy is like a heat that warps the air, and these emblems were made to cool it. They deflect corrosive gaze, they bless the home, they fortify fortune. You might hang a small plaque near an entryway or wear a bracelet at your wrist. Press it to your heart before you step into a competitive room and whisper. No comparisons, no auditions, just truth. The hand becomes an invisible barrier, the eye a reminder to keep your gaze in your own lane. In Christian tradition, there is the Saint Benedict Medal, a prayer condensed into metal, a centuries-old refusal to be bullied by temptation or malice. It offers protection through constancy and devotion. If you belong to that faith, you may wear it or place it at the threshold of your home, preferably blessed by ritual. If not, it deserves respect, not appropriation. When you hold it, rest your thumb upon the cross and let your spine remember its alignment with a simple phrase, I choose what enters. For those who struggle with cycles of guilt and obligation, this symbol helps transform boundaries into benedictions. On the doorposts of Jewish homes rests the mezuzah, not as decoration, but as commandment. It is scripture written on parchment and encased, a reminder and a guard for all who pass beneath it. For those inside the tradition, it is installed with care and reverence. For those outside, its lesson remains powerful. The door is a ritual site. Each time you cross a threshold, you are crossing between worlds. Even if you do not use a mezuzah, you can adapt its wisdom by touching the frame and naming a value aloud. No gossip crosses this line. It teaches that true protection begins at the boundary between outside chaos and inner sanctuary. In Tibet, two sacred objects carry the flavor of clarity and steadiness. The vajra, or dorje, represents the thunderbolt, the indestructible power to cut through confusion. The gao is a portable shrine, a small box worn on the chest containing mantras, relics, or sacred images. Together they symbolize clarity and traveling protection. If you walk these paths, you may carry them in the traditional way. If not, you can adapt the form by wearing a small locket with a vow written inside. Feel its weight against your heart and breathe as though your heart itself is the altar. In moments when the world pulls at your attention, this weight calls you back to coherence. From India come the Rudraksha beads, sacred seeds linked with steadiness and devotion. 1 seed per breath, 1 breath per bead, until the mind grows quiet. Hold a bead between thumb and finger in moments of tension, extend your exhale and silently repeat. Observe, don't absorb. It is not about hiding behind beads, but about training the body into a rhythm it can trust when the outside world grows loud. Sacred geometry too carries its fortress. The Shri Yantra, 9 interlocking triangles around a central point, framed by a square with 4 gates, is a mandala of union but also a map of defense. Place a small card on your desk or at your bedside. Trace the square as if sealing your perimeter, then let your gaze rest in the central point. Breathe 3 slow cycles from the outer edges toward the center. Write 1 line to close your day. What stays outside tonight is... In this way, geometry becomes a gate through which only what nourishes may enter. And when traditions do not fit, you may craft your own. The personal sigil is a symbol born of your vow, a bespoke mark that embodies your intention. Write a sentence such as, I move with clarity and consent. Remove the vowels and repeats. Compress the letters into a glyph you can sketch quickly. Place it in the corner of a notebook or inside the lining of your jacket. Each time you draw or touch it, breathe and remember. This mark equals choice. In doing so, you honor the principle of protection without borrowing what is not yours. Notice how all these tools share a pattern. They live at thresholds, on doors and wrists, near hearts and desks. They pair image with breath, phrase with small action. The symbol is never passive. It is a cue. Your breath sets the rhythm, your words aim the mind, and your next action seals the boundary. Ending a conversation on time, declining a question that preys, choosing where to sit, deciding when to leave. Protection is not superstition. It is posture in motion. And so we leave the map of cultures, carrying with us eyes and hands, beads and mandalas, vows and marks, each a way of saying the same thing in different tongues. I choose what enters me. In the next chapter, we will move from artifacts to stones, from history to the quiet intelligence Edgar Cayce found in gemstones. Gemstones. We will separate wishful thinking from workable practice and see how a simple stone can steady your hand and your mind the very next time a soulless presence tries to draw from your light. What if protection could be held in the palm of your hand, cool, weighted, whispering a simple instruction to your nervous system? Return to center. Long before crystals became fashionable ornaments, visionaries like Edgar Cayce spoke of stones not as magic trinkets, but as companions for attunement, tactile partners for a life disciplined by breath, prayer, and purpose. The stone does not save you. It steadies you so that you can save yourself. You can test this truth with something as ordinary as a pebble. Place it in your palm, close your fingers, and breathe slowly. 4 in, 6 out, 5 cycles. Notice how the body reorganizes around the anchor. If such a simple act can shift your state, imagine what a symbol chosen with care can do when the room tilts. Cayce's own words remind us that stones are supports, not shortcuts. In his readings, he often linked particular gems with qualities of mind and spirit, clarity, steadiness, vitality. He described them as adjuncts to attunement practices, companions to meditation, prayer, clean living, and service. Think of a gemstone the way a musician thinks of a tuning fork. It does not play the music for you, but it helps you find the note more quickly. This insight matters whenever you face the draining presence of those who confuse memory, siphon attention, or push against your boundaries. In such moments, you do not need elaborate theory. You need a grabbable cue, something that tells your nervous system, we know what to do. A stone in your pocket becomes a steering wheel for the body. You touch it, breathe, and re-aim your intention. Among the stones Cayce mentioned, several stand out as especially resonant. Azurite, often confused with lapis in older texts, carries deep indigo tones that invite clarity and inner hearing. Hold a piece near your chest before a conversation that feels slippery. Breathe deeply and repeat within. I return to accurate perception. This stone is not for decoration. It is for those moments when reality is being rewritten and you need to verify, not just vibe. Lapis lazuli has long been a stone of truth and counsel. In our frame, it calls forth the sovereign archetype. Worn as a pendant at the throat or a ring on the hand, it rests where voice and choice converge. Before you answer a probing question, touch it, pause 2 seconds, and let the words that follow serve your boundaries. Carnelian glows with warmth and courage, ideal for those who freeze or fawn. Keep it in your pocket during negotiations, interviews, or family gatherings. Roll it between your fingers, exhale a little longer than you inhale, and remind yourself, act, don't react. Its fire steadies you when overthinking must yield to clean action. Black tourmaline grounds. It works like a lightning rod for scattered stress. Carry a small shard in your bag or place one near your doorway. After exposure to chaos or manipulation, hold it low near your belly, breathe 3 times, and release what is not yours. In this way, you end the day lighter. Amethyst quiets and soothes, a night shield when stimulation runs high. Place it by your bed or tuck it under the pillow wrapped in fabric. Trace its surface with your fingertip and let 5 long exhales carry you toward rest. Say to yourself, close the day, close the loop. It signals the body that the page has turned. Obsidian, volcanic and sharp, acts as a mirror. It invites honesty when avoidance tempts you. Place it beside your journal and write one uncompromising line. This is what actually happened. In those words, you reclaim truth from the fog of empathy misused. These stones are not cures or medical prescriptions. They are instruments for design, beautiful objects used to anchor behavior and awareness. Their power lies in the pairing, symbol with breath, breath with phrase, phrase with action. To make them truly work, shape them into protocols. The pocket test takes 15 seconds. Before entering a charged space, feel the stone, squeeze lightly, inhale, exhale longer, and repeat inside yourself. Observe, don't absorb. The boundary bell takes less than a minute. Place the stone on the table, set a timer, and touch it when you feel pulled to explain too much. When the timer ends, so does the meeting. The night decontamination takes 90 seconds. Hold the stone to the heart, then belly, then navel, 1 breath each. Say, return to sender what is not mine, call back to me what is. Brush your arms downward, drink water, and write 1 line. What stays outside tonight is. Each step teaches your body the art of endings. Perhaps the simplest practice is the 1 stone, like 1 sentence challenge. Choose a stone, choose a sentence, and practice at the same threshold daily for a week. Track how much time you save, how you feel afterward, how often you decide to redirect or leave a conversation. If nothing changes, change the stone or the sentence, never the practice itself. A few cautions preserve the integrity of this work. No talisman substitutes for logistics. If you need to go, go. If you need help, call it. The stone cues the action. It does not act in your place. Respect provenance. Source ethically, for protection built on exploitation collapses its own field. And less is more. 5 stones with conflicting intentions are like 5 apps running on a dying battery. Choose 1 theme per season and live it well. What emerges from these practices is a pattern: touch, breath, phrase, boundary. This is not superstition, but hygiene of attention. Stones may be tuning forks, but you are the instrument. As Cayce offered gems to steady the hand, so the next teacher, Ingo Swann, offers practices to steady perception itself. If stones help you remember your center, Swann teaches you to keep the signal clean and the perimeter intact. And so we turn now from objects to operations, from stone to signal. We move into the realm of attention, where boundaries are shaped not only by what you carry in your pocket, but by what you choose to notice and what you refuse to merge with. The work is elegant, and it is learnable. It is time to Hamsa. Tune the signal. What if the strongest talisman you will ever own is not carved from stone or cast in metal, but carried inside you as attention, trained, tempered, and tasked? If the previous chapter placed a stone in your hand, this one places a steering wheel there. Ingo Swann, the artist, the remote viewer, the meticulous teacher, spent decades showing that subtle perception is not a party trick. It is a discipline. And discipline is exactly what soulless dynamics cannot stand. They feed on scatter, on speed, on the spilling of your focus. A trained attention gives them nothing to drink. Before you face a difficult interaction, imagine giving yourself a 2-word upgrade. Whisper inside. Observe, don't merge. Just once. Watch how the body shifts from trance to stance. It is a tiny act, but it tilts the whole field. Swann's most practical gift was the ruthless distinction between signal and noise. Signal is what you choose to notice and act upon. Noise is everything else. Anxiety loops, false urgency, the little hooks that pull your story away from you. Soulless patterns thrive on amplifying noise until you cannot hear yourself. Your task is to reverse the ratio. Try this. Soften your jaw, widen your eyes gently as if you were an owl. Breathe in for 4, out for 6, 3 times. On the last breath, tell yourself again. Observe, don't merge. Choose one anchor for the conversation, perhaps a time cap or a single question. In that small ritual, you have dialed the radio to your own station and turned the static down by half. In Swann's work, attention is never vague. It is always tasked. Tasking is the prompt that aims perception like a beam of light. Without it, subtle awareness wanders. With it, attention becomes a tool. Around draining people, tasking should be simple and sharp. What is the goal of this encounter? What is the limit? Time, topic, disclosure. What is the tell that signals it is time to exit? Write it down before you go in or carry it as a 3-beat phrase. This is not rigidity, it is a rail system. Draining personalities thrive on open terrain. Rails force them into view. Think of your attention as a lens that gathers light. Hygiene means keeping it free of fingerprints. Every 20 minutes, lift your gaze to something 20 feet away for 20 seconds to break tunnel vision. Check your jaw. For soulless encounters, clamp it tight. Place your tongue on the roof of your mouth and feel the nervous system drop a gear. Keep breath cadence steady at 4 in and 6 out, for cadence breeds coherence. Unlace your fingers and let your palms rest open, broadcasting choice rather than captivity. Stack sit bones and crown, gently draw shoulder blades back, not in posturing, but in quiet signaling of the inner sentinel. When you feel yourself begin to drain, run these 5 steps in order. 90 seconds later, the field inside you has reassembled. Swann also taught the rule of no merging. In social fields, this means refusing to let your attention abandon home and take up residence in another's nervous system. Merging is scanning, fixing, rescuing. Observing is different. You let the information arrive, but your energy stays seated in your own body. Choose a handrail for your psyche, thumb to finger, palm dependent, heel pressing into the floor. Keep one point of contact while you listen. If you lose it, you have likely merged. Return to it, and you return to yourself. Quietly, the dynamic flips. Timing is another shield. Swann structured his sessions around windows of signal. You can do the same. Before answering any charged question, wait 2 seconds, touch your anchor, breathe, and answer only what was asked. Every few minutes, sweep your body from crown to feet and name tension that does not belong to you. Not mine, not now. Begin with a clear task and end with a closure phrase, such as, "This is a good place to stop." Timing itself is a boundary. Soulless dynamics feed on reflex. Pauses are refusals without drama. Attention hygiene also means choosing your inputs. Gate them as Swann would gate his channel. Wear one earbud of brown noise in a crowded office to signal privacy. Face a wall or window rather than a corridor of motion. Enter meetings with fewer stories loaded in your mind so you can read what is happening now instead of reacting to anticipations. For one day, keep a ledger of where your attention went each hour. Mark green for signal, red for noise. Tomorrow, remove just one red source. Hygiene grows by subtraction, not heroics. When you do merge or stumble, Swann taught to treat error as data, not failure. Debrief gently. Where did I merge? What cue did I miss? What micro adjustment will I try next time? Write it down, close the notebook, and you have turned extraction into education. A 5-minute drill can make this discipline second nature. Set your tasking with clarity and limit. Lock the body into calm stance. Soft eyes, relaxed jaw, slow breath. Scan sensations, sounds, and thoughts, naming signal and noise. Rehearse crossing a threshold with your symbol and boundary phrase. End with a neutral closure. I have to wrap here. Practice this once daily for a week, and you will find conversations begin to feel like rooms with doors, not cages without exits. Symbols remain part of this. Your talisman is now an amplifier, not a crutch. Assign it one job. Touching the Eye of Horus might mean verify, don't justify. A sigil card on the table sets the perimeter of the meeting. A stone placed on your phone becomes a timer that ends the session when it rings. In earlier chapters, we mapped the emblems and tuned the stones. Here you are training the operator. Soulless dynamics cannot endure an operator who has tasking, and when the field grows too loud, retreat into the silence. Lower your eyes to the floor, breathe long cycles, touch your handrail, and repeat once. I keep my center. Decide then to leave, to reschedule, or to narrow the focus. It is astonishing how often silence itself brings truth back into the room. Extraction thrives on momentum. You are allowed to stop the wheel. Attention hygiene is how you become the temple. Symbols live on its walls, stones rest on its altar. But doors still need locks, visits still need limits, nights still need closure. The next chapter will convert this inner discipline into outer protocols. Rituals you can run without effort. The threshold protocol for doors, the conversation shield for encounters, the night shield to return you to yourself before sleep. You do not have to win every interaction. You only have to keep your signal. If the previous chapter placed your hands on the steering wheel, this one writes the route into your very muscles. The secret of protection is not intensity, but repetition. Small and faithful actions, performed at the same moments every day, teach your nervous system to choose clarity without waiting for permission from fear. Symbols and talismans are not trophies to collect. They are living cues. When practiced steadily, they cease to be objects you own and become reflexes your body remembers. Begin with the simplest of all, the threshold. Every ancient culture treated the doorway as sacred, but modern life has largely forgotten. Yet, the threshold is where you choose who you are before the room has a chance to decide for you. Place your chosen symbol there, perhaps an Eye of Horus tile, a Hamsa plaque, a Benedict Medal if it is your path, a Shri Yantra card, or a personal sigil traced near the handle. The object itself does not carry the day, the sequence does. Stop at the door, touch the symbol, inhale once through the nose, and exhale a little longer. In your mind, repeat the vow that grounds you, clarity and consent. Step across with your crown lifted and your jaw softened. In less than 20 seconds, the body has learned to treat doors as altars of sovereignty. Neuroscience might call this an implementation intention. Jung might call it summoning the guardian at the gate. Both are right. Next comes the conversation shield. Soulless dynamics thrive on speed, on the spilling of words before you have chosen them. The shield slows time and returns you to your lane. Choose a portable anchor, a bead, a small stone, a medal, or a sigil card in your pocket. Before you speak, touch the anchor and pause 2 seconds. Whisper inwardly. Observe, don't merge. Keep one point of contact as the first minutes unfold. When a charged question arrives, breathe once and answer only what was asked. If pressure rises, have a sentence ready. I don't discuss that, or that won't work for me. End on time, and as you close, touch the anchor again with the quiet phrase, "This is a good place to stop." In less than 90 seconds, spread across the meeting, the amulet has cued the sentinel, the breath has summoned the magus, and the sentence has seated the sovereign. 3 archetypes in 1 minute, enough to keep your center intact. Then there is the night shield, for protection is not only spatial but temporal. Encounters leave residue, static in the aura, loops in the mind. To sleep without bringing them into your dreams, place a Yantra card, a soft amethyst, or your sigil notebook by the bed. Stand and touch the symbol to heart, belly, and navel, 1 breath each, repeating within. Return to sender what is not mine, call back to me what is. Sit and trace the outer square of the yantra, or draw your sigil once on the page. Exhale, then write 1 clean line. What stays outside tonight is... Close the book, shake the arms gently, sip water, and turn out the light. In under 2 minutes, you have taught your nervous system that the day has borders. Sleep deepens, dreams clarify, the psyche recovers. If complexity kills practice, simplicity saves it. Follow the 1 stone, 1 sentence rule. Choose a stone and 1 line to pair with it for 7 days. Azurite may carry the vow, I return to accurate perception. Lapis may remind you, my words serve my boundaries. Carnelian may whisper, act, don't react. Tourmaline may absorb with the line, release what is not mine. Amethyst may close the cycle with, close the day, close the loop. Place the stone where your hand already goes, pocket, bag, console, so that practice is frictionless. The right thing must be the easy thing. Every protocol reduces to 3 locks. First, the symbol, which primes meaning, then the breath, which restores coherence. Finally, behavior, which seals the choice in the physical world. 1 by 1, they click into place, and doors open or close by your command. Do this sequence twice a day for a week, and notice how the feeling shifts. You will sense less defensiveness, more design. Your day will feel like it belongs to you again. Of course, practice requires troubleshooting. If you freeze, press thumb to finger, breathe out slowly, and remind yourself, I am seated in my body. If you fawn, rest the tongue on the roof of the mouth, drop the shoulders, and think, I'll need to consider that. If you spiral afterward, use the night shield immediately. Take a walk, sip water, and write down the sentence you wished you had spoken so you can carry it into tomorrow. Error becomes data, data becomes design. Ethics remain the foundation. Treat sacraments as sacraments, not decor. If an emblem belongs to a living tradition you do not practice, honor its rules or craft your own sigil instead. Source stones ethically. Keep claims grounded. These are symbolic and behavioral technologies, not excuses to avoid real choices or responsibilities. The symbol cues the action. It cannot act in your place. By now, you've built a loop that lives in the body. Doors decide the day, conversations keep the signal, nights close the loop. Symbols rest on your walls and wrists, attention sits on the throne, boundaries travel with your breath. In the conclusion, we will weave all the threads together. Jung's archetypes, the cross-cultural talismans, Cayce's stones, Swann's discipline, and these daily rituals, into 1 living sentence your body can remember under pressure. I choose what enters me, and you will receive 1 final challenge to carry this practice forward for the next 30 days until it is no longer something you think about, but something you have become. Some truths are too quiet to shout, yet too important to ignore. The most powerful protection you will ever carry is not the symbol around your neck, the stone in your palm, or the pattern traced on your door. It is the living relationship you keep with yourself, renewed every time you choose. Clarity over confusion, sovereignty over surrender, presence over drift. Throughout this journey, we have walked a map as old as civilization itself. Jung reminded us that symbols are not mere ornaments, but bridges alive between conscious and unconscious. Cultures from Egypt to India to Tibet carved their warnings and blessings into stone, metal, and geometry. Reminders that malice and envy are older than history, but so is the instinct to resist them. Edgar Cayce placed stones in our hands, not as shortcuts, but as tuning forks that help the soul find its note. Ingo Swann gave us the discipline to train attention itself, the rarest currency in a world constantly trying to steal it. And then we made it simple with daily rituals, the threshold protocol, the conversation shield, the night shield. Practices so brief they can be done between breaths, yet so potent they can reset the trajectory of an entire day. What ties it all together is one revelation. Sovereignty is a skill. It is not a passing mood, not a grand theory, not a one-time revelation, but a discipline you practice until it becomes posture. Soulless dynamics, whether you call them hollow shells, parasites of attention, or simply those who refuse to honor humanity, cannot survive where sovereignty is lived daily. They may knock at your door, but they cannot enter without your consent. So here is your invitation. Choose one protocol and run it for 30 days. Touch your symbol at the threshold, or carry it into a conversation, or let it close your night. Write one line in a journal each time. At the end of the month, you will see the pattern. Conversations shorter, guilt reduced, sleep deeper, energy no longer leaking into places it does not belong. This is not magic. It is repetition becoming ritual, and ritual becoming protection. Still, let us be clear. No talisman will pay your bills, end a toxic job, or walk you out of a harmful house. What it can do is strengthen the part of you that makes those choices possible. The Eye of Horus steadies your sight, but you are the one who must step away from the gaslighter. The Rudraksha bead slows your breath, but you are the one who must speak the words that draw the boundary. The night shield closes the loop, but you are the one who must lock the door. The work is shared. Symbol plus self, ritual plus choice. So I leave you with this promise. You are not powerless. Even in the presence of emptiness, even when your light feels dimmed by those who cannot or will not honor it, you are never without tools. Your breath is a key. Your words are a lock. Your attention is a gate. And your symbol, whether ancient or self-made, is the reminder that you decide who crosses. If this journey has stirred something in you, do not let it end when these words fade. Choose your symbol today. Write your sentence today. Practice your protocol tonight. Protection is not something you buy tomorrow. It is something you embody now. Each practice is a vote for your future sovereignty. You have been listening to Awakened Wisdom, where ancient truth meets modern awakening. If these reflections resonated, I invite you to like, subscribe, and share them with someone who may need to remember their own strength. Together, we are not only building a channel, but forming a circle of souls, reclaiming the right to live clear, awake, and whole. And remember this as you step back into your day. You are not a passive character in someone else's script. You are the keeper of your threshold, the writer of your vow, the sovereign of your field. Stand tall, carry your symbol, speak your sentence, protect your soul. I will see you in the next video of this unfolding journey.